It is your girl Ashley Alexander with a very special series for you. I'm so excited. I got some of the best tour professionals in the entertainment industry to sit down and have a chat with me. We talk on all different kinds of things. We tell stories. We get honest. I'm excited that this has worked itself out. So here's a new episode. Check it out. Let me know what you think. Thank you.
What's up, gentlemen? How are
What's
you
up?
guys?
How you doing?
Doing well, doing well. All right, let's kick this off. I just need everyone to introduce you by name, what you do, and a tour I've met you on or something like that. So before I get to what tours I met you all on or where I know you from, I'll just say I'm Ashley. I have toured for, I guess, I don't know, 7 or 8 years in a real kind of way, locally a lot longer doing things. I started as VIP representative on tours, and then I became hospitality coordinator for a couple tours, got a tour management gig under my belt, and then I do a whole lot of other contract work in other ways. I've been a singer-songwriter for years.
My name is Jared Cruz, audio engineer. Been engineering for a couple of years. I kind of forgot, but you don't worry. It's at least been like 6 years, so I can at least get the fader up, you know. And actually, we met on a tour. Dominic Fike, that was his debut world tour.
Mm-hmm.
And we toured U.S., Australia. We had fun.
We did.
Yeah.
Howdy. My name is Wes Jacobs. I'm a lighting and video engineer. Sure, I'll use that same word. I like it. Or technician. I've been touring for about 6 years. Before this, I built and ran and repaired mobile stages and just everything staging-wise for probably 5 years before that. So I'm about my 10 years in right now. Met Ashley on a super crazy Has a Million Stories tour, Slipknot, 2016. It was amazing because she was there. And yeah, it's been a wild ride.
So I'm Austin. I am a wireless and intercom specialist, coordinator, however you want to call it. I've been touring for about 10 years. Before that, I did a lot of corporate work, mostly tour now. I met Ashley on Chris Brown's last tour, Heartbreak on the Full Moon. We had our first conversation. We bonded over bacon, for sure. Our first conversation was, oh, is the bacon really good today? All right, great. I like you. You like bacon? I like bacon. It's great. So,
Yeah, that's good.
I got my start in audio, everything from monitor tech to flying PA. And then eventually I was able to go into what I really wanted to do, which was wireless intercom. So I do that full time now.
My name is Dex. Current position would be tour management with a touring structure. Some form or fashion, I've been in this business for 20 years or so, whether it was traveling, working with circuses or traveling, working with mobile stages or setting up festivals or doing movies or what have you. I just would not use the word technician for anything that I do. And I met Ashley on that same glorious tour that Wes did. I was out carping with Marilyn Manson while they were out with Slipknot.
All right, Marcus, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
My name is Big Marcus. I met Ashley doing a Cardi B tour last year. Damn, it would have been nice if you would have stayed out there the whole run. You know, it was mixed up. It wasn't a full flat run, but it was nice meeting you and everything. And yeah, I'm a local stagehand. As you know, the industry is at dire straits right now. Carpenter is what I do. You know, All Access went to bat for us, and they still paying us. So, you know, we appreciate
awesome.
that.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, that's hey, you winning. You winning, bro.
So one question I have for everybody kind of in the round, you all can pick it up where you lead. It sounds hokey, but how are you all doing mentally and spiritually or whatever that means for you?
You know, I'll say this to start it off. When it first happened, I was a bit nervous.
Mm-hmm.
But then I sat and I thought to myself, like, if I take this time in quarantine and I come out of quarantine and I haven't learned anything, or I haven't bettered myself or realigned my goals, then I'm failing, you know? And so what I've tried to do, besides watch every show on Netflix, go Tiger King, I try my best to at least do a couple webinars a week, do some trainings, you know, better myself in this whole situation. So when we come out, you know, I either know more, or, you know, I'm able to go forward in a way that I would not have been able to if we didn't have this. So I'll say mentally, I'm about 75% stable. There's still a 25% that goes, ah.
Well, I appreciate your transparency in that.
Yeah, but I definitely want to come out of this better than I went into it. That's for sure.
Right on.
Well, I wish I could be more like Austin, because this shit's a struggle for me. I live for being on the bus, being on the road, working, just, you know, I don't care what the hours are. I don't care what the situation, how stressful and stuff. I'm just meant to be out there solving problems, making shit happen. You know what I mean? And
don't get me wrong. I want to be out there too now.
yeah, I wish I had more of your let's better yourself kind of mentality right now. You know, I guess the only way I've been better myself is I'm not in the city that I live in. I went to another city. I went to hang out with a pretty girl, and, you know, just try to keep your mind straight, you know what I mean?
I appreciate you telling me that. Thanks, Wes.
But you already bettering yourself. You went to hang out with a pretty lady, I would say.
I definitely gotta agree with Austin all the way. Like, if I'm not watching content that's gonna make me smarter, then I'm basically wasted this entire quarantine and learn environment. You know, so it's just one of those things where I have to learn, because if not, somebody else is. You know, so somebody else is out there watching every webinar, watching every learning video, every training video, and I can't just sit back and chill, because I love what I do, but I want to continue to do it, you know, so I got to keep bettering myself.
One thing that is going to happen as these episodes evolve, hopefully, I have some really wonderful people kind of on the inside and some really good friends who are going to help me list some resources. So at one point, I'll make sure to email everybody updated stuff besides what we get sent on social media. You know what I mean? Just other more specialized stuff.
Yeah, I wish that I had more things to learn via resources. I feel like a lot of my job is yelling at people and seeing random situations and making them work, you know? Like the things that are available, like if I want to LD, that's very easy to do in this, you know, kind of time. And, you know, you can get the software on your computer and whatnot, but just seeing, you know, how rigs go up and down and learning your process for, you know, essentially getting your gear up in the best possible time fashion and, you know, safe fashion. You know, that's really where I want to do. And that's the only thing that sucks is, you know, like the things that I want to grow on are not available right now.
I think you'd be surprised if you look at some things like in the whole like webinars and just bettering yourself. Bettering your resume is a really good thing to do right now. And all that comes with different certifications. Like you go on Groupon and you just search certification. There's a lot of these things that you could take online. Like you could take, I'm not sure if you can go to motor school online, but I mean, like taking apart those motors and dissecting those motors, that's worth a couple extra bucks each week. You know what I mean? Like you start getting crowd mustering or crowd marshaling or even like basic life-saving certifications. Those type of things on your resume are worth more money typically.
Yeah. Well, you know, you usually got to do those certifications with your hands.
Yeah, well, some of them, but some of them, you'd be surprised, especially with the webinar world that's out there. There's a lot of stuff that you can bone up on.
Yeah, interesting enough, Dex and I had a conversation a couple of days ago, and he said a question that I've never thought to think about. He was like, I mean, when was the last time you were really home in April?
That's the other side. Like I'm
just
for
like,
me personally, I'm just.
I've never been home in April.
Like,
never.
My birthday is April 12th, and I haven't been home in like 4 years. This is the first time I've been home.
Because that was my other thing. It's like, you know, obviously you know, we come home when we pass through it in the city, we see people day off, however it goes on with the rest of the year whatsoever. So I guess, you know, my next question was going to be like, are you preparing your skills for the call back? Obviously, the greater portion is most people are yes. But the real question I have at this moment is because we don't know anything, and I don't want to speculate on timelines or framing of it, any of that. But, you know, do you feel ready when the call comes?
I personally been saying, not to cut anyone off, I personally been saying, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
everyone. I personally been staying in shape. As you see in my living room, I got my little personal gym. I don't know if you can really see it. I got my little personal gym back there. You know, I've been staying ready because I know when they take the chains off, it's gonna be go, 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 go. We do a lot of personal, we do a lot of work at home. I'm not always on the road. I'm not just a roadie. So I do a lot of stagehand stuff too. And I've been going, I don't know if you can see it, but I've been going over like old drawings and stuff.
Okay.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Wow.
So,
Fair
breaking
enough.
down, doing the numbers, doing the trust count and stuff. I don't know if you can see it, but this is Harvest Crusade right here. This is the drawing from Harvest Crusade. This is how we do a lot of our work. And you know, I told my coworkers, I talked to the coworkers and everything, and I told them, I said, man, y'all better be in shape because when they say let's go, it's gonna be nonstop. You know,
All that sitting around for a month.
Yeah. One thing that I definitely have been starting to do is going through like every catering company that I've worked with on all of like the tours I've been on, remembering the notes of what crew hated this one, whose bacon was trash, you know what I mean? Like, so compiling it up, so at least when it comes back time, I'm at least prepared.
I will say this to piggyback off what Marcus said, and that is to say, I don't know when, no one knows when,
right?
But I can tell you right now, like the moment it opens up, it's gonna be like putting the dam on the ocean and then removing that dam. That thing is gonna flood because you got
Not a trickle.
You got all the tours and festivals that were postponed already. And then you're going to have the tours that were planning to go out at the right time. They're going to be going too. So, I mean, like, we're going to be flooded. It's one of those things where you're like, okay, I think I'm ready. But, yeah, like, we are going to be so flooded with work that I just really want to enjoy my time at home,
Yeah.
you know, as much as I can.
Yeah.
Well, but going on that, Marcus did nail it. Like you do all the book reading you want to do and get all the certs and all the webinars that you want to get. But if you're not taking care of that body, your first 3 weeks out are gonna suck.
The thing that I do every day, like at least during the week, Monday through Friday, is I try to walk at least 3 miles.
Yeah.
Try to walk outside at least 3 miles because that's what we do.
Get your steps in.
I've been outside of the grocery store and stuff, but I'm a little rattled about. I'm more rattled about people saying something about me walking around more than I'm worried about who else is walking around.
What are they gonna say? They're gonna come up and find you, Ashley?
People are coming. People are just seeing people outside, you know?
Man, screw them.
Yeah, no, I definitely pick the times where there's not many people walking at the same time. But I mean, that's the big bulk of our job is walking. I mean, if we put a step counter on what we do,
and those
I'm pretty
steps
sure
I take
we
around the forum.
I'm sure we walk about 5 or 6 miles before showtime, so I definitely want to keep that up. I want to be able to still move around.
I'm going to be really honest with you. I swear to you, I didn't even think about it like that. I guess because I'm not really clocking it.
30,000 steps a day.
Watch the app.
Watching that.
And also, even if the only place you go is to the actual grocery store, park far away. Like, if that's the only place you go, you better park the farthest parking spot you can find and walk it.
You got to use a crosswalk to get to the grocery store.
Use a crosswalk. Like, if the only exercise you get is going out to like the actual supermarket, just park far.
Well, look, so onto another thing outside of our own self-care and our self-help. And let me just say thank you everybody for being like really, really transparent. You know, I know a lot of us are super quiet on tour. I know a lot of us, if someone's like, "Hey, you good?" We're just like, "I gotta move something." You know, like it's a different world. So I will be transparent. It is really awesome to see everybody at home because everyone is themselves, but we're different at home, you know, and a spirituality point. So one thing I am curious about, because I thought about this not too long ago, because you know, I'm noticing people are shooting shots in all different kinds of ways. It's not just like relationship stuff. Are you networking? Because obviously, if you think about it, you know, higher ups in other positions in different companies are sitting at home on Facebook scrolling with mutual friends of yours, just like you are. You know what I mean? I think there's people who want to network and still get some stimulus going. I think there's people who really want to take this time and, you know, figure out who they are and figure out what this means for them. But are you networking?
We have here lately, the past year or two, I've had, you know, the same 4 or 5 guys on my crew for almost every tour. So I've been just doing a lot of maybe not so much outside networking, but like I already have my network, just calling them and making sure everybody's, you know, got their head on their shoulders. Everybody's, you know, if you need help, you know what I mean? Because we should all be here for one another, you know, because I know if I'm really struggling, which I don't consider myself to be extremely struggling right now, but I know that's not how it is for everybody. So if I can call and help one of my boys out, or girls or sisters or brothers or whatever, you know what I mean? And just make sure that they're good up here, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that they can come back strong when it's time to go. Because I know a lot of people, I'm sure they're probably thinking, man, it's really nice to be a HVAC guy right now, construction worker, you know what I mean? I might not even come back to that stupid tour, you know, like, so.
Oh man, by my house, they got 2 buildings going up, and even after the governor put in the stay-at-home order and all that, those things have not stopped. And I know because I wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning when I hear those.
Let me tell you something. Not to be all in Austin's business, but if you do happen to follow him on Instagram, I mean, this was like a story for the ages of watching what was happening with the build across the street. He'd give you full access. You know, he'd give you he'd see someone on break. You know what I mean? Like.
This guy is hiding out in apartment 12:15.
He's 3 minutes.
Not left 12:15. Oh man, I used to have my view used to be so crazy. I used to sit over there and watch him like, damn, he's getting a paycheck right now, and we're doing the same thing.
The whistleblower.
No, but you know, I never really thought about the networking side of it. I mean, the position that I'm in right now, before this all happened, I mean, I actually kind of hit a really good marker with my career. So, I mean, like for me, it hasn't been networking as far as making new connections, but I am sort of a mentor to a lot of new and upcoming audio guys. And I mean, I have been checking in with them. I've been like, hey, are you going to this webinar? Here's the, you know, thing. So I've been making sure that, you know, financially, we're all in the same position. I don't care how much money we all got in the bank account. There's no new money coming in. So, I mean, we're all in the same point there. But I think that the one thing that I've been trying to stress, at least to the people that I am connected to, is like, don't sit at home and mope. Like, don't sit at home and cry over what's not getting paid or whatever. Like, you got an internet connection, go watch that webinar. Like, you know what I mean? You know, unless the people at your house trying to put you out, go watch that webinar. You know what I mean? So, I haven't thought about that. I think I'll probably take that up the rest of this, trying to make new connections. But I've been trying to keep the connections I have strong, you know.
Fresh. Yeah.
It kind of doesn't matter how long I've really been touring. You know, I can be honest in saying I have worries sometimes of if I'll be an initial call for certain things. And that's coming from the one female in the group in this conversation. I think in other episodes that might be different for other people. It might be the same. I don't know. But I do, you know, sometimes have my hesitations of like, let's get myself prepared. But I also have been fortunate to now really kind of transition from working for a corporate lead in a situation to really being on a crew in a situation. And when you really learn what the crew dynamic is, especially if you didn't start that way, you know, I worked for a company on tours, and then you can kind of feel the divide. It's very different when you're with each other. And the comfort I think I've learned from that is there's comfort in knowing that there really are people that you know off top that will have your best interest at heart, or think of you when it comes to, you know, something. So I just was curious because I'm always a big fan of networking, but I'm always I was going to ask, what are you trying not to do in this time? But you kind of answered the things you guys are doing in this time. So,
You can sleep all day long.
That's the main thing, is trying not to get into a habit of sleeping all day, because in real time you know that doesn't happen unless it's an off day or something. You in between work, then maybe you might get that opportunity to hit the hotel or something on an off
And even
day.
when you go in
You
the
know, you might
hotel,
oversleep.
you gotta take your stuff in and out of the bus when you get to the hotel. You still working that day.
As you guys know, I'm a bit jealous that you guys get to sleep all day. Let me go put a forklift outside your apartment and have it going. Doo, doo. No, but
Dude, that would put me right to bed.
Yeah, I can sleep during the forklift.
I'd be like, I'm at the gig.
no,
I'm
you know
like,
what's crazy? What's crazy is it's not sleeping all day that's the problem with me. I'll wake
Something to
up.
do.
I'll wake up in my bed, and then I'll go, let me just lay here for the next 3 hours. Wide awake. Like, that's the problem. It's not sleeping. I can't sleep past a certain time, but when I wake up, I will get out that bed. I'm like, you know what?
Look, I put that in the category of sleeping though, because
still
laying down.
I got a life hack for you. Just get a really terrible bed. Start sleeping on the floor outside, like go camping every night. And you get up.
All right, time to get up. Time to get up. Oh, thank you.
It's cold.
So I try not to. I tell you, I try not to stay in bed all day, and I try not to go for the intoxication, whether it's drinks or other pleasures of life. I try to go straight for like, all right, either I'm gonna see what webinars are out there today, or go out for a walk, or go sit outside, listen to music. I try to do something sort of productive, like, because once you hit the drink,
my thing,
right. It's over.
Right. My thing, actually, I didn't have anything to sip this entire time. I'm not really the biggest drinker anyway, but I did have a little bit of some Tito's for that babyface Teddy Riley, and got disappointed, cracked my bottle for nothing, and was like, this is I mean, me personally, one thing I have tons of like audio recording equipment, so I'm always trying to like figure out how to just kind of really set that up to be self-sufficient at home. I've always said interest in learning a language is kind of what I do on my phone in my time on the road anyway. I have a tenor ukulele, so this is one of the few times I can actually sit home, because I can't really play guitar but so much, but I'm always in the air of self-sufficiency, so I'm trying to like Fender play every 3 months of learning.
I just don't think,
guitar, so.
I don't think my neighbors would really appreciate me playing my trumpet.
No.
I just don't think they like that.
I used to play
Do they like the cranes outside?
I was gonna say, get after it.
Yeah, right, true.
What's
Start getting in tune with the crane.
If they don't like the cranes, they can't control that. You pay rent, man. You pay rent. You deserve.
I want to get on the topic of flying really quick, because flying is something very, 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 very much a part of what we do. And traveling is it. But in the case of flying, that's just a general statement in me asking, domestic and internationally, in the sake of flying, when we're really able to, when we really get back to it in a real way, tons of people are flying now, or, sparingly or whatever they're doing, but, do you feel comfortable flying?
I got no problem with it.
So, I mean, I
flying
was
currently.
on planes right up until our industry shut down. I was in Vegas in March.
Okay.
I think now I would actually feel comfortable. I mean, number one, because a lot of the airlines, I know at least Delta and American, at least they're making plans to like mitigate any chance of anything spreading. Like they're not booking middle seats anymore right now. They're not, doing certain things. So, I mean, I think I would. I'll definitely be more aware. That's for sure.
Definitely.
I'll be more aware.
I saw a clip like Naomi Campbell must have has some YouTube channel or something I wouldn't have thought to look at. But Naomi Campbell's home and showing me her whole life. So I've waited since a child. I want to see. And she showed her cleaning her seat plane routine that she's been doing for over like 20, 30 years when she gets on planes. Doesn't matter where her seat is or what, the bag and the wipes and the scrub down she does, and then a blanket on the seat. I was sitting there, I was like, what have I been doing? Oh my God.
You know what though?
Man,
I
it's a
don't
smart
like.
move.
I don't get that. I don't get that because I had a flight in March actually where I got up to go to the restroom. The lady thought that no, I think it was a Southwest flight. Two ladies, they thought that row was empty. So they started like spraying the seats down and all this stuff. And then I come back over and they're like, oh my God, we're sorry. We didn't know you were sitting there. And now my seat's like drenched in like,
Oh,
it was gross. But this is what I didn't understand about that whole situation, right? The back of the chair is going to get someone's clothes. Like no one's French kissing the back of the chair, you know? So like my question was, why didn't you clean the seat in front of you? Because that's what you're going to touch.
Yeah.
Or why
Well, at
didn't
least
you
it's-
clean like
it's
the
right there.
menu,
Yeah.
the magazine there? Like
The
I feel
hand
like
tray, the tray.
Yeah.
I feel
get
like
a cleaning
that's
crew in
what
here.
you
Let's
should
do
be
all the
cleaning.
seats.
the back of the chair, like the back of my chair, I could probably eat off of this because the only thing that touches this is whatever clothes I'm wearing,
There's some nasty people out there.
you know?
Nasty
There's some
back.
nasty people out there, man.
You are correct. And I think the day that I see someone French kissing the back of the chair, I'm probably gonna pick another career.
I want to say one thing I walk with in realization is that what we do, no matter our department, is we are a service-based industry.
Mhm.
No matter how you slice it, right?
Mhm.
That is what we bring to the country in whatever level of variation that is. Because this episode's things that I'm a part of, I'm also having local stagehands of a part of it all. We all do this together. We can't do it without each other. And the variety of people that I have to come, or I'm really surprised it said yes outside of production managers, bus drivers, truck drivers, dancers. I've been really fortunate to have enough people be like, yeah, I'm down, just to have a conversation about it. But I realized one thing I figured out was on one of my very first early tours, I had it drastically canceled. And that happened the first time really out the gate for me. And so what's wild is that I feel calmer in this actual emergency, but I've realized that a part of me feeling so calm is because we're a service-based concept. So our goal is to kind of resolve things. Like it made me feel a certain way when I realized, people would send me the resource list, like state by state, there's different things. And then I go to my state, there's nothing,
Yeah.
And kind of that interesting feeling of like, we bring a service to you. I understand it's a consumer-based, service-based industry, right? But there, I think, realizations I think some people have had with this and others haven't, in the sake of our own safety. You know what I mean? There's more of us kind of waiting for the CARES Act than actual assistance in our state.
Yeah.
I mean, super shout outs to Music Cares and Live Nation for even, giving us something to
Music Cares
apply to, Music
Yeah,
Cares.
for sure.
They were my dentist before I had health insurance. Bless Music Cares. You know what I mean? Like that type of deal.
Sure, for sure.
But with that, how does that concept, how do you feel about that concept? Because you're of service. So in a way we really give. How does it feel to not entirely receive right now?
I mean, I gotta say, it's not that I think it should be different. I kind of feel like, I mean, we've all been there. You've been at a show. Everybody's looking at this, person who's putting on the show, and then, nobody ever even thinks about what went in to make that happen for them. You know what I mean? We're the ninjas in the background. You know what I mean? We're the ones no one's
sure.
seeing. You're not supposed to be seen. It's almost like a selfless act. You know what I mean? Like, I like that background drink right there, Austin. But I was, just going along I never expect anything from anybody, if you think that you're supposed to get something in this world, then you're probably going to be disappointed. So
That
I
is
like
true.
to keep it low for me, you know what I mean, on the expectations.
Fair enough.
I'll say this, man. I think that because we always say it. I mean, we always go, we work a thankless job. You know, sometimes we don't even get thanked by the artists. And it's not a something that you're expecting, like you said. Like, I'm not expecting to go on a tour and have the artists like sit us all down and thank us one by one. Like, I don't expect that at all. But I think this really exposes not just our industry. I mean, I think it exposes everything, you know, like
all service industries.
Yeah, I mean, we keep the country running, you know, and then all of a sudden, you know, now it's like, oh wow, everybody is affected. Like, the last thing I would have thought is our industry would ever be affected by anything, you know, and then to see that it wasn't just affected, it was literally shut down. That was tough, you know, that was tough. And I think going forward though, it definitely gives the people in our industry a different view on things. You know, like, it's no longer no matter what. You know what I mean? Like, we have to understand that going forward, we have to plan as though our industry could be shut down again. You know, so we have to plan financially. We have to plan with not putting all our eggs in one basket. If I'm an audio guy, like, I gotta branch out. You know, I'm certified as a climber. I'm certified as a rescuer. I'm certified as you know, being in genie lifts and bigger lifts. However, like, we have to diversify now. Like, we see that.
I think that it will make the people a lot more appreciative. You know, this will humble a lot of people. Some people it's gonna go right over their head. That's just a natural thing. You can see it now as people grouping and protesting, like civil liberties. You know, you know, but this, you know, not to backtrack, but you know, I try to branch out a lot and try to call a lot of people. Just, you know, I mean, people that I never thought I would even, you know, I got their number, but you know, because we got a big crew, I just call people to check on them and see how they're doing. You know, and if you're not questioning, I say, man, don't bother to ask. You know what I'm saying? Don't bother to ask. I think I'm doing pretty well for myself, and I say, you know, if you need it, I mean, I got it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people not going to get the full-time pay or whatever the case is. So I just want to see where you at mentally, because this is a lot to handle for a lot of people. You know, sounding like Teddy Riley over here, huh, Ash? I think that they'll be a lot more appreciative too. You'll hear them thanking a lot more people. You know, some of them already had it in them. Well, some of them already had it in them. You know, I worked with some people and I was like, damn, I wasn't expecting that, you know. Just for instance, I don't think you were there, but you know how Cardi stopped the load out one time and had the whole crew come in. We're looking around like, was it an emergency? Was it an accident? What happened? And I was like, oh, when we walked in the room, I was like, okay, table set up with drinks, everything. And I was like, oh, okay.
Listen, yeah, actually, yeah, what he's talking about is extremely true. I was on, Cardi B did something early last year. And it kind of I got a call saying she kind of wanted to test drive meet and greets. Then for years I've done meet and greets. So I was like, all right, cool. You know, if we're going to test drive it, let's go. I've seen a lot of different things, so I can take what comes, you know? And she was wonderful. And one of the days on the tour, probably towards the end, I mean, it was really towards the end. It was probably like a 2-3 week run kind of deal. And I was running around. I'm trying to remember what venue we were in. We were either in like Indiana or like Indianapolis, Minneapolis, somewhere in there. And I get on the radio, like, everyone report to production. And I'm like, what? Like, it was on all channels. And then I come in, but I'm not looking at anything because I realized everyone's so frantic. So like Marcus and half of us come in, we're like, what's up? Do you need us right now? Okay, I'll be right back then. like, and then after a while they got us all there and we're all like, what's going on? And then like people are popping stuff, but half of us are like, we gotta work.
Right.
What do you want? You know what I mean? You know? And then eventually she came in and she thanked all of us. And it was so funny because you don't realize how much you don't hear that until you hear it.
It's
like,
rare.
oh.
Super rare.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh,
sure.
thank you. Can I go back to work now? It's like,
Yeah, love you.
but yeah, I agree with you all. I think our sensibilities with each other, whatever level it is, you know, I really think this is going to change things. I also think a lot of us have also been really fortunate to work for some artists that were pretty cool, or were, you know, see you, know you, you know, I think if you don't have that or that doesn't happen for you, it just sucks.
It definitely makes it easier.
Very much so. I mean, I don't even friends with anybody, but you know, the fact that at least in the sake of like, if I'm in your space, you're not worried about your safety. Like just that, you know what I mean? Like I got to get 300 people in here at one point to like touch you and get them out, and they don't like you know, like they can't. I tell them like, don't touch, don't bite, don't cry on, you know.
So you remember the movie Passion of the Christ, right?
Whoa.
Yes.
When that movie came out and I saw it, I don't think I cursed for like a month. I think I went a month and I was like, I'm not cursing, I'm doing everything right, you know? And I think when our industry opens up, oh man, you're gonna have people helping people that never would help people. Like, oh, hey, lighting guy, let me hold that trust for you.
Whoa.
It's gonna happen.
No, I mean, like, I'm
change.
just saying, I think that when we come back, everyone's gonna be so appreciative and happy to be back that like, oh man, you're not gonna get any arguments.
Listen,
Sure.
Stage right's gonna be locked down.
I'll tell you this much, coming from being hospitality coordinator in most of these situations, you all are going to be really kind to me with your list and stuff because you just want an individual bag of chips and some grapes today, or you all are going to be the most pickiest people who are all vegan and like, no shade, Nick. Shout out to the vegan in the room.
I'm sitting here, I'm like, I really could use a runner right now. Like, where are all the runners right now?
That's right.
Crying out loud.
That's one thing that even on the last run that I noticed is like, I really, really appreciate the catering companies. Like, that's the one group of people where like a lot of people like take it for granted. And it's like, they kind of come in, take what they want, go out. Dinner's ready, come in, take it, go out. And it's just
I didn't realize it until I had to engage with them.
These people come in early. So I want to at least be able to say, yo, thank you. Because sometimes they are amazing.
I'm tired of cooking.
Like,
I like doing it first thing in the morning because that's when it really matters.
Mhm.
Everybody's rude in the morning.
In the morning,
See,
sets
I
the
will.
tone.
You have a little more experience with that, Wes, because you go in early. You're one of the early ones. I'm not. So
Copy, you got them
no,
after
thank
we
you for thank you for thanking them for me. Okay.
Good looks.
I mean, in a lot of ways, and I realized I didn't realize this until kind of we got in the space that we're in, and I started really trying to interview my friends, also see each other's faces and stuff like that. I mean, all of you in your separate departments really wouldn't chit chat with each other on a regular day, but I realized I have to get to know a good amount of you and feed y'all.
You gotta talk to everyone,
In an odd kind of way. Like, it's true. I judge bacon because of Austin being like, what's the bacon look like?
What's
You
the
know
bacon?
what I mean?
We don't need no British caterers. All right.
Yeah, no.
I've learned, like, in the simplistic way, party on your days off how you want to, but like little things, like if the water is crap in that venue, everybody's sluggish. If the deli meat isn't covered in saran wrap, it visually throws off people, and they won't have a sandwich, even if it's the only thing out and lunch isn't up yet or dinner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, I'm glad that like I thought to do this, because I was like, I feed all of you all, so like I talk to a good amount of you or like check on you and stuff. Because Dex said something to me a while ago and it stuck, and I want Dex to repeat it.
I think it ties into what Austin was saying. I think on your last question, it was a really good point that Austin made about how like you got to start to think about kind of the outside of our industry, real world applications of what our job actually is. Because a lot of times we show up in the middle of nowhere and, you know, we set up based off of just trucks, or we load in out of trucks and we set up a city. We bring power, we bring lighting, we bring sound, we set up squared flat surfaces, you know, we root around in the mud, we get everything done. And when you start to think about, you know, things like disaster relief and stuff like that, they all share the same type of MO. And I really feel like it's very worth going down the rabbit hole of like, you know, historically, when you got too many people and not enough jobs, this is when you get these renaissances, whether or not they're cultural renaissances or whether or not they're technological renaissances. But I think, you know, enough of us sitting at home, this is the time, like, you know, Marcus, you're looking at your plans and stuff, and maybe you're working out something, a better way to pack a truck or something. You know what I mean? Like right now, this is the time to be like, okay, you know what? This is something that gets on everyone's nerves. This is something that we have to deal with on the daily. I got the time right now. Maybe this is something that I could work out. It's going to decrease everyone's load out by 2 hours or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Pardon the
Oh,
the
please
curse.
give me that. That means
But
my
I-
loadout is like 1 minute.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like all these different things that we do. And I think that you're going to start to see, like, you know, if it really goes as bad, staying away from some of the things that could happen with this particular situation. But in any type of situation like this, that'll cause our industry to come to a standstill. Those are emergency situations. I really think there's a lot of real world application for the things that we all do individually and the way that we can work together as a team and kind of get people that are green, that don't know what they're doing, to get on the ball, or you know, there's a certain type of common sense that is in our industry that's not common. It's not in a lot of other industries, and it's that real life application type of common sense.
I mean, you know, there's a lot of what we do is trade.
Yeah.
There's so much room for apprenticeship. If people had small businesses, not just interns, you know what I mean, but just like the conversation of being able to really, it brings someone into the fold, their credibility be based with the network and the work ethic, outside of it being like, if I get into a tiff with this production manager on the wrong day off, it affects, you know, the next thing. I think those things are going to change a little bit.
And I think that also ties into your networking question. I think it was another point that Austin brought up that was really good, was like, you know, so often in this business, before you know it, you're the cat that's been around the longest. And there's these other cats that are coming up. And, you know, like right now I'm about to be 39 years old, and I've got friends that, you know, are in their mid 20s, and I've got friends that are in their early 20s that are just getting into this game. And during these situations, you got to check up on them, because you don't really realize, you know, what a formative role you have and what type of person they're going to become in this business or work ethic wise. And I also think that that's another huge level of networking, because we're helping to train up the cats that are going to have those jobs when we're in our 60s and our 50s. And I'm like a phone call at that point. You know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't be bad to get a little, oh, this guy brought me up in the game, I'm going to give him a little job to come out on the road and make a little bit of money because he was there for me. And those phone calls during quarantine, and those making sure everybody's doing well, and just, you know, guiding people in the right directions at all times. It's a life mentoring gig more than it's anything else, what we do, you know, because we really got to keep each other alive every single day, just about every single minute.
I have a family member who toured for a very long time, and hopefully she'll be in one of these episodes eventually. But one thing that I was told early on was like, because I remember even like the first gig I got, in the bigger picture, I was like, I mean, pay is pay, right? But those early ones, they were a little light. You know what I mean? And then life went on, and I worked hard, or I did what I could to make positions for myself and progress, and then be like, all right, now we're talking, you know? And then like, we're getting there. And then to realize in reality that what you're getting is because we are taking you from your home and your family and the people you hold dear for an allotted amount of time by contract. And the life that you uphold, or your lifestyle, we have to make sure that you keep it for you. So you will produce the best work you can for yourself, for the representation of the brand, whatever it is, you know what I mean? And I think sometimes people forget, outside looking in at our situations, like, you know, it's more people being like, oh my God, your job is a dream. And it is. And I don't just like disagree.
I mean, you think about how long you're out there and what you're doing, but also your brain is worth money at this point. You've done all these things, you've learned all these things. You know, having your brain on a job site's worth $300, $350 a day, depending on what your gig is. Like we were talking about, if you know where to put something when you take it off a truck, so that it doesn't screw me when we're putting things back onto a truck and it doesn't add 5 minutes on, that's worth $10. You know what I mean? Like all those little things, you start adding that all together.
Money. I'll tell you, someone said something the other day on one of the webinars that I was on, and that right there like stuck with me forever, because it articulated the things that I've been saying for years. In 1,000 words, they said it in 10 words in this, and it was, there is two ways of learning. There's knowledge learned, and then there's knowledge earned. And I think that 9 times out of 10, as much as I like reading a book or learning something new from a book or looking at a webinar or whatever, I mean, I think that Wes said it best. I mean, we don't have anything in our face right now. Like we can't, you know, me being a wireless guy, I can watch all the webinars all day or teach, because I teach and do some of my own webinars, but like I could do those all day and learn theory and learn the practical application and listen to other people's stories. But until I get out in Chicago and set up an antenna and try to, you know, make a wireless microphone work, you know, like,
yeah,
I'm not really getting that knowledge earned.
I like to do things the hard way the first time, not because I want to do it the hard way, because you learn exactly why the easy way is the easy way.
Sure.
Yeah.
It ends up being the people that I'm friends with are kind of the people who really work.
Thank you.
You know,
Yeah,
like,
people
I really
people
appreciate
tell me
that.
I don't work. You know, I like that. Thank you.
you
let's
know,
say call Ashley.
I need just
Call
that
Ashley.
clip. I just need that clip.
so
Okay?
even in a lot of essence, I mean, and especially because I learned that in a lot of ways what I do is way more admin production oriented or VIP and something very separate. All of my stuff is taking care of that 300 people that walk in the door, and hopefully I got them amped to walk in here so they don't ruin this for the rest of you once they, you know, they get to their seats because they're jerks, you know what I mean, or they're mad, or they, you know, they feel the way about something. Like, I gotta keep it together. So I've always been a lot more in observation of watching a lot of problem solving I see everybody else do. You know what I mean? I'm not loading in, loading out that way. I'm not switching stages that way. You know what I mean? I have to try to do what I can as in my space to make sure when you all are done and hit that bus, but no, let's back it up further. When you put the gloves off, there are towels. All the towels. Take two. Go. You know?
That is so important. I'll be taking two for sure. I don't care.
Hey, look,
I'm taking two.
Ashley, I know this is your show, but I have a question.
Yeah, and please, if you all have questions for each other, let's have it.
I have a question for the group. Do you think the odds are that these venues are going to get new towels for us so we're not rubbing off our skin with those?
They're not. I don't personally see that happening.
So I do have a fun little game that I actually play on my podcast that I had before, which was like a whole thing. I got numerous episodes. I can't thank you all enough for taking this time. Did you enjoy yourself? Please,
I did.
Let me know feedback.
I did.
For the next ones, if you guys want to come on other ones, let me know. Like, now that I know how many people I can get, and it'll probably look clearer even still if I got 9 people.
Copy not airing this one for the test run. Copy, go ahead.
I have a random little game that I play on my show. Basically, I have a show that's a podcast if you all want to be privately interviewed at another time. It's kind of a space of like inside the actor's studio, but like Questlove knowledge, and then like a little bit of Daily Show stuff. You can really talk. So as time has gone by, I have a bag of questions, and then the guests ask questions. Like, give me a question to put back in the bag.
Do we get to pick which? Can I make a pink question and a yellow question?
Okay, so the colors are green, pink, orange, and yellow. I'd probably be the easiest way to do that. So if everybody just tells me a color, I'm just gonna try to like not look and pick a color face down. What'd you say? Oh,
that is totally a lighting color. You're right.
Austin and I stay away from all that.
Hell yeah. I'll take all the pink.
Pink? All right.
See that thing across an arena, like, no problem.
Favorite internet radio?
Ooh, man, I can't remember.
Yo, I got it for you.
Spotify.
I'm gonna get my Conan.
Yes, Spotify. Does Spotify count?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
All streaming platforms. Favorite?
I will say Google Music for me.
Okay.
Google Music, man. I put the Google Music radio on and I vibe. I'm good. They're not giving you like a song at 190 BPM and then hitting you with a 65 BPM. Like they definitely keep you going. I like it. I like Google Music.
I think for me, I would say Apple Music personally and Spotify professionally.
Okay.
I kind of separate them.
I would say Spotify is personal, Tidal is professional.
I have one comment to make because of that. The reason why I didn't say Apple Music is because last year I worked a thing, I think somewhere in LA, this festival, and the front of house engineer had Apple Music as their pre-show music, right?
Oh, he didn't pay
had
for
the
it,
radio going, and it was like, my mind telling me no. And then the crowd was like, no.
Oh
So
no.
we had to like sprint the front of the house and hit next. Like, all right, no more R. Kelly. I don't know how R. Kelly got in this place. Get it out. Get it out.
Marcus,
I was about to say serious.
Sirius?
Yeah.
I like Sirius in the car.
I like Sirius. That's a good one.
They got a digital channel that cranks. I'm not kidding. So
Yeah, I like Spotify just because I mean my phone mainly is just my Spotify. It's all the memory that it uses because I download the songs. So if I'm ever on airplanes and stuff, I don't have to use Wi-Fi or any of that crap.
Oh yeah.
You know, so I've just got
for sure.
5,000 songs I want to listen to. Plus, also want to make another little statement. Whenever you're on tour with me, Stage Right is definitely got the best music going on. I don't care.
Man. That's up for debate.
Hey, listen.
Oh, more than that.
Oh, no, wait,
Look, I can't. Y'all got more sound than me coming out the front. I'm just saying the grooves is tightest on Stage Right.
Let me just say this, Wes. I don't know, like my reputation, I've had nicknames of being AirPods. I've had all sorts of nicknames because I have like, and Ashley can attest to that. I have like,
I've been on
like
two
20
runs. I've been on 2 runs with this guy. He has a JBL or something clipped to him. It doesn't matter what you were listening to.
Hey, listen, Stage Left will give you a run for your money now.
All right. I would be very interested.
We got to tour together so we can have a song off now. We can do
Yeah. We would get those ultimate ear ones that link, and we would make all. I would turn them on in people's work boxes when their work box would go by.
My God.
Like, now you're gonna have mariachi music playing when you show up.
Yeah, right.
Hey, Ash, remember I used to have my little. I
Have music shower time.
I really didn't even think about that until just now. You, Marcus and Austin are literally the two when everyone is getting off work. Shower's done, all of that. They are outside speaker ready.
Oh, we gonna be jamming. We going. I literally go to Best Buy and I buy my speakers based on what I think would be heard over the sound of 10 buses running their engines. My speakers throw. My speakers got some throw in them.
Yeah. If you could record an album anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Ooh.
For me, it's either Shangri-La with Rick Rubin there, or in like
definitely gotta have Rick Rubin.
Like a old Italian castle with crazy acoustics. That's where I'm at.
First one would be Santorini, Greece. Beautiful sunsets. You'll get the best lyrics out of that. And my second one would be the middle of Spain. Like not like a big major city, a small city. Just
like
because
a National Geographic shot.
Yeah, their culture is so great. Like you would not want for lyrics. Like you would have the best lyrics ever on your album. I think those two right there would be my two.
All right.
I'm a Basement fan. I'm punk rock.
All right.
Yeah.
Give me a good, well laid out basement. I'm ready. Let's do that.
That's what I was leaning towards. Where some of these albums were made in the basement or in a garage or something. You know what I mean? Like you didn't
big old barn, something like that.
A classic, but here you go. You got yourself a classic. You ain't in the particulars, but I wouldn't mind sitting there with Rick James, like do that coke.
I would just want to be a fly on the wall in either Muscle Shoals studio or in the Motown house.
Oh,
one of those. And I mean, you got more greats coming in and out of there. I don't even remember all the lyrics.
You are correct. You are
Muscle
correct.
Shoals is be a nasty.
Sure.
You don't know who's walking in that one.
I've been in Muscle Shoals and got to do a very personal, detailed tour of that place, and it's amazing.
Nice.
They have things in
Muscle Shoals is so thick with it that the Rolling Stones got a Southern accent when they walk through the door.
Right. Jair?
Ooh. I'm gonna have to go New Zealand.
Ooh.
New Zealand.
I got some good memories there.
Yeah.
New Zealand, but not on the main island, on one of those little
Lord of the Rings. shots.
Up there. Up there.
Live at the Shire.
So,
From the Shire.
so take Rick Rubin and drive that car and park it somewhere
Yeah.
in New Zealand. And
Um,
then let me just be there. Just let me be there.
Favorite 80s male singer?
Oh, thanks.
Weird Al Yankovic.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I'm gonna go. I want
Starting
to go.
hard.
I want to go Peter Gabriel. George Michael. Taking it back.
Yeah,
George
Peter
Michael.
Gabriel, though.
George Michael.
That was hard. Ashley, come on.
Does Michael
I
count?
listen to,
Yes. Okay.
man, I listen to a lot of music, man. Now I gotta like try to.
I want to say Robert Palmer because I love the Power Station, but I feel like Peter Gabriel and George Michael I've played often, and like a splash of Simply Red, but that.
So let me ask you a question. Does this have to be they started in the 80s or they were around in the 80s?
They were around in the 80s.
You're around in the 80s. Okay.
I'm going to just say this just because it's a band that's influenced most of my life. I'm going to say David Gilmour.
Fair enough. Perfect. Right
You
on.
know, for me, I would say Rick James because, you know, of course, I like the old school and I love the funk. So I would say like a Rick James for me.
Have you read his biography yet?
No, I have not.
A friend of mine is reading it through this quarantine. It's called Glow. You should check it out. I hear it's very good.
This ain't the $1 million question on Millionaire.
Apparently, I'll stumble a bunch of people with this one. Okay.
Oh, wait, I want to answer.
Okay.
I would probably say Prince.
Okay.
Ooh, that's a good one.
And
Another
here's
bad
why.
pick.
Here's why I think Prince takes the cake for me personally, and this is that Prince, like Rick James, I mean, he literally didn't give a fuck. Like he put. I don't know if we can say that on this show.
Well,
I'll say he didn't care. He didn't care about other people's opinions. He made the music that he liked, and I think that closely resembles myself. Like when I play my music during the day, I mean, I listen to everything. So like my playlist is all over the place. Like I've been on tours sometimes where it was a you know, a day where I was listening to Taylor Swift. It was a Taylor Swift dance party, right? And everyone's like, turn that off. And I'm like, no, this is a Taylor Swift day for me, you know? Like, let's go.
All right.
I think I would have to go with Prince.
Cool. Now, here's the last thing. This is all I ask of you all, and then we are going to get out of here. Can you give an
I've
encouraging
got nothing to do.
Can you give an encouraging word? We can chat once this is done. Can you give an encouraging word that you would like to share with the people, just individually? Mine would be is that everyone is important, and don't forget that.
You know, stay safe, of course. Let's wait it out, see what happens. If you get a chance to help somebody, even before this, you know, I've always been the same person. You know, help each other. You know?
One of my favorite song lyrics is it's a Dr. Dog lyric, actually. It says, you could say that we're alone, but we're lonely together. And I think it's important right now for everybody to remember that everybody's in this right now. You know, you feel everybody feels it's a human thing to feel depressed. It's a human thing to feel down. But everybody's sitting at home. There's no better time to reach out for support right now. If you need support.
Right on.
So my first one would be grow. That would be my first one. Basically saying like, don't get comfortable, because no matter how high or how, I'll tell you this, like I've been in this 10 years, I've been doing this a lot, but if someone gave me, say, hey, try this, I'd be like, for sure. I don't care if it was their first day, you know, like we always can learn from other people. That would be my first one. And then my second one would piggyback off of you guys and say, we are all in this together. Like, even when we come back and we come back stronger, better, we're all in this together. You know, like when we're on a tour and the show happens, like I might think, obviously I'm audio, I might think audio is more important. You know, you might think lighting is more important. You know, but at the end of the day, that show is only as perfect as all of our departments. So we are all in this together. If there was a time to Like there's no reason why we should ever try to one up each other. You know, like we're part of the same production, we're part of the same team, we're part of the same industry. There should never be a time where we're working against one another.
I definitely want people to remember is that even though this is a hard time, it's still a blessing at the same time, because like we would have never had this much time to focus on something if this did not happen. So
Correct.
Remain productive. Like that's the one thing. Remain productive and continue to learn, because this is what we needed. Because if it wasn't for this, we would not know things about other family, friends, our industry, the people who we work for or who work under us. You know, so we wouldn't know this stuff if we didn't have this time now to reflect and learn. So take advantage of it and be productive.
Awesome. Wes?
Man, y'all are just killing it on these outros. Really making it hard for the guy last. But I mean, I agree with everybody hearing everything that was said. We got to be, you know, there for each other in this time of need. And even if you're somebody that, you know, maybe has maybe not more depression, but just, you know, you're not as motivated as some of these other guys out here. You know what I mean? You know, if you don't think you could stay productive, just stay active. You know what I mean? Just keep your mind going, because once you know, just don't ever give up. Even if it doesn't feel like you're doing something to help you in, you know, your work aspect or anything. I mean, just your personal, you know, your mind health, like, is a lot right now. And that's hard for some people to do, but it's, you know, it's not easy for everybody. So you're not alone out there.
Sure.
And definitely never get comfortable.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, I want to say something to Wes though real quick, because hey, don't think that after I turn that webinar off, sometimes I'm like, what the hell? Like, no, don't think that when I'm productive, like I get off the chat and I'm like, oh man, productive. No, sometimes I get off that chat and I'm just like,
what did I just learn?
I'll tell you, that's the time to take a nap. And it sounds silly, but you keep everything you learn in the front of your brain until you sleep. When you sleep, that's when you process it and you put it into the middle of your brain, the neocortex. So sometimes you take that nap right after that webinar, you actually learn a little bit more.
Whether we were on tour or not on tour, me taking naps is something I don't need advice on. I can take a nap anywhere.
I just can't thank you enough for being so transparent and being a part of this and all that good stuff. The last thing I want from you is this one thing to show the proof and just how far spread we might actually be. To say the city that you're in. I'm in Laurel, Maryland.
Philadelphia.
Marcus?
I'm in Warwick, Rhode Island.
I'm in California, Southern California.
What gave that away?
Wes, Austin?
I'm in Phoenix, Arizona.
I'm in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah. ATL.
I was from Alabama. I hear you, Marcus.
All right. Well, I'll reach out to you guys. You guys stay healthy and wash your hands out longer than 20 seconds and stay safe and productive. Obviously, I will talk to you all soon.